Yeah, that of course is local resident Paul Weller and the Style Council Long Hot Summer, which is what we seem to be in for. So whatever you're doing this weekend, wherever you're going, take some order and take some sun lotion. Now, of course, one of the things you could do this weekend is join us for Sounds of Latimer and the Festival of Small Events, and that is happening all over Latimer, from St Mark's Road, Bay 20, all the way past Maxilla, across to the Harrow Club and down to the North Ken Resource Centre. In a minute we'll explain in some detail how to get to the resource centre.
Yeah, do, because I had a bit of a problem trying to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Turn yourself down, mate.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did.
On Sunday afternoon we have 2 listening workshops, and they are going to be hosted by our own Isis at 4:30 and at 2 o'clock by Naima Shamshoon. Naima, you were on the show a little bit earlier this year. I think it was actually our 8th birthday show.
Yes.
A listening workshop and a storytelling workshop. How does it actually work?
Well, as you know, I mean, my poetry collection was published this year, so I wanted to try to inspire that creative flow in the residents of Latimer. But I mean, I myself lived in Latimer for 23 years, and I just think that it is such a historically and culturally rich area, and that it would be nice to draw from those experiences of the people in Latimer and maybe create some poetry.
Yeah, because if you come down to the Soundscape tomorrow, which is outside the Maxilla Social Club, it runs from 11 to 7. There are lots of personal stories in there. One of the ones I particularly like is everybody says that when they grew up as in the 70s and 80s, they were all terrified to walk through my estate, the Silchester estate. But there are people. I was on the Robert Elms show last week, and he didn't say this on air, but he did admit that some of his family were involved on the wrong side in the 1958 riots, for instance, when a load of teddy boys attacked the young Caribbean people who'd just come over.
Funny enough, on my way out this afternoon, one of my neighbours, who's a guy, I think he told me he's 75, white guy, sort of working class background, he told me that he was 13 when Kelso was murdered, because he'd seen my picture of that horrible photograph of me, the horror that's all over the borough thing, and he asked about Kelso, and then he said to me, yeah, I remember when I was about that age that the Notting Hill, he called it, the riots, he said, because he was living right near Latimer Road. He used to live opposite Latimer Road Station. He said there were some boys who were older than him who were like teenagers, and he said they were on the wrong side, and they literally told him how much they beat up African Caribbean guys, like really battered them and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's all that history. It's fantastic history to have recorded.
And history, of course, is made up of a series of personal histories which you add together, and that gives us our social history.
Absolutely.
It's a collective. Yeah, it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's if you will, a patchwork of lots of different stories and experiences, and it's quite beautiful.
And I think what's interesting as well is the experiences from different perspectives. Because if you were 13 years old when something happened in 1958, you will view it very differently to if you were 3. You probably wouldn't remember, you wouldn't have any memory, or there might have been something that just happened, like those small clips that children have. And as an adult, you just have this little memory thing. But then if you were 23 or 33, where would you have been? You'd be working, so your memory would be so different. Be really interesting to capture different stories about events.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember vaguely as a child seeing a group of skinheads in Ladbroke Grove, and my body just kind of froze with fear because we'd been told we're not the kind of people that they like and they're going to hurt you. My mother always told me if you ever see any of them, just hide and run away.
I used to cross the road. I lived in Osterley, but at one point I went to school in Hounslow, and there was a bus station, Hounslow bus station, and literally they used to hang around their skinheads, sniffing glue and stuff. And obviously, with the big DMs and the National Front and the British Bulldogs, so obviously I had to walk on the other side of the road, because if I'm on my own, I'm going to get ganged up on at like 13 or 14 or whatever by a bunch of I mean, it's terrible.
It was awful.
Really
awful.
Terrifying. Really terrible.
One of the things we've tried to do in the Sounds of Latimer is it's about everyone's history, and some of that history is the young women, the kind of year 7, 8 and 9, And I think we were talking last week in the connection with the silent walk that, of course, we're talking about these memories, whether it's skinheads, whether it's Frestonia, whether it's... For them, they're going to have this incredible memory from when they were 6, 7 or 8.
Grenfell Tower burnt down.
Of the fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I mean, literally, that for some young people in our area, that is the only memory.
Yeah.
In terms of a big event, that is the only thing they're going to be holding on to because it was so incredibly traumatic.
Yeah, I think, you have a whole generation of young people who have been scarred by that, and I think it would be very difficult for them to think of that area without Grenfell coming to the forefront of their mind.
I mean, and now, actually, I'm wondering, and I think that's something we'll both be able to explore, is there any memory now of Latimer without Grenfell that's so central now? Is it always Grenfell going to be really the thing that holds it,
I mean, it does feel like it is an area that sometimes feels like it's living in the shadow of Grenfell.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, I literally live in the shadow. Cause
one of my one piece really that I wrote about Grenfell is called "In the Shadow of Institutional Terror."
Yeah.
Because literally that's how,
let's just play a quick tune, and then if we can, I'd like to talk about the process of eliciting stories and whether personal stories need to be anonymised or whether they can just go out there.
Don't you know I'm walking away? And if you don't want me to stay, only
Don't you know I'm walking away? Now I'm in my own space. Baby, you know I ain't waiting for you. And if you don't want me to stay, only one thing to say. Baby, you know I ain't waiting for you. Want me to stay? No, I ain't waiting for you. Want me to stay? No, I ain't waiting for you.
Big beast when it comes to the lyrics. Me, I do this thing on the mic with no gimmicks. Came a long way, I was serving in those civics. And you were trying to keep me from winning, but I did it. Ask about me, I did it. Let man stay on my sofa, I did it. Busting my watch and my choker, I did it. I kept a straight face in this poker, I did it. Look, rest assured man's got you. If life's weighing you down, then I'll spot you. Water you, show you sun, never block you. If no one's backing your beef, then I've got to. Yeah, back your beef, that's my job. Just ride for me, don't write off. I got your back, hold tight when you climb on. I've always been a real nigga to rely on.
Don't you know I'm walking away? Now I'm in my own space. Baby, you know I ain't waiting for you. And if you don't want me to stay, only one thing to say. Baby, you know I ain't waiting for you.
Ask about me, I did it. Let man stay on my sofa,
Want
I
me
did
to
it.
stay?
Busting my watch and my choker, I did it. I kept a
No,
straight
I
face in
ain't
this
waiting
poker,
for
I did
you.
it. Ask about me, I did it. Let man stay on my sofa,
Want
I
me to
did it.
stay?
Busting my watch and my choker, I did it.
No, I ain't waiting for you.
Live and direct don't mean that I'm live, but live and direct means I'm building a vibe. Touch when I'm mine on God, I'm a ride. I win and break bread from my fam, I provide. 8-piece, AP, come and get me. Set beast, curl it in from a set piece. AJ makes the waves like a jet ski. Iced out ice everywhere like I'm Gretzky. Easy money sniper, check my KD. I ball like KD and rock like AC. You know me, done shows in DC, NYC. Drop my top like page 3. Cool grays match the London sky. Barbell, cruise like a 4-wheel drive. Take time when I'm on a mic, it's live and pressure makes diamonds. Try me, I'll thrive.
Told you I ain't tryna wait no more. Yeah, I've been on you, but that don't mean I'm always yours. Boy, listen, cause it doesn't add up, something's missing. And I finally switch your position. Might be somebody new that I'm kissing, yeah. Saying that I'm out of love, but you don't know about me. And maybe if you took the time, then you would know what I need. Don't know what you came here for. Watch me walking out the door. It's over now, big bang, yours ain't waiting for your love no more. Don't you know I'm walking away? Now I'm in my own space. Baby, you know I ain't waiting for you. And if you don't want me to stay, only one thing to say. Baby, you know I ain't waiting for you.
Ask about me, I did it. Let man stay on my sofa, I did it. Busting my watch and my choker, I did it. I kept a straight
Yeah, that is West 10, AJ Tracy and Mabel. Of course, Sounds of Latimer's Festival of Small Events will be happening in W11 and W10, so don't worry if you don't come from W10. I'm here.
As I'm from W11.
Yeah, indeed.
There you go.
W10.
We're here with Naima Shamshoon, and she, along with Isis, are doing workshops, storytelling workshops on Sunday afternoon at North Kent Resource Centre. Well, how do you go about eliciting people's stories and turning those into some co-created spoken word, poetry, whatever?
No, I think you try to you speak to somebody and you say, and you ask them what words come to mind when they think of their story. And, if they can think of, say, like 5 words that you kind of get an idea of that story. And you say, okay, so now go through each word and then think of another 5 words that you would associate with that particular word. Now you have these words, try to put them into a form of poetry.
Right. I mean, is that like David Bowie? David Bowie famously wrote the lyrics, then cut them all up and threw them up in the air and then put them...
Well, there is actually a school of thought around creative writing and poetry which says exactly that. You write your poem, you cut it up into strips, you put it... But, I mean, different... Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think definitely with poetry. I mean, the first draft is never the final draft. I mean, you move so many. You'll move stanzas around. You'll eliminate lines and add other lines.
But have you ever done all that and then moved back and come back more or less to where you started? And thought,
I have.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be a wild goose chase.
Sometimes you just have to go through that process.
Yeah.
But I think there are lots of different ways. I mean, the thing that we've been doing, Ilaria and I. We've got the last session coming up next Tuesday. We've been doing these upcycling clothing workshops with poetry. It's kind of like poetry meets eco-fashion, basically. And I've been working with the women to kind of create like affirmations or short poems that they can write on their clothing. And then they're working, obviously, to upcycle stuff. And one of the things that was helpful with that was just to actually think of like just literally words. So almost creating a poem and then cutting it up and then just taking back words and putting them onto clothing. Because obviously it's hard to have a whole poem, but you can have like just, I don't know, freedom or emancipation or whatever on it, yeah. So I think it could be such good fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And I find also that when you do these workshops, people themselves come up with great ideas.
Yeah.
What do people need to bring to the workshop? Nothing? Everything?
Just themselves.
I would have said that. Bring themselves, yeah. Their memories, their stories, just really be thinking if you've happened to had a chance to talk to your grandmother or your sister or your cousin who doesn't live here anymore, maybe they've got a story about Latimer that, be thinking.
Do you sometimes find, you know the way you find yourself sometimes telling a cab driver your most innermost secrets because you can't tell them.
Now appears.
Tell them to anyone who knows you.
Now appears.
No, but I think we all have our memories of Latimer. I mean, even me, I can remember as a child growing up on Lancaster West Estate, and there was a particular woman on the estate who always knew everybody's business, and you knew if anything happened, it was going to get back to your mother.
So I remember my first memory of Lanc West Estate, really, because I only ever came here for Carnival back when I was a teenager. I didn't live here. And so Portobello Market and the Carnival, that was it. But I remember I actually came here in 1988 to start working at North Kent Law Centre and Peter Candler and Co-Solicitors. I was a paralegal.
Was that on Goulburn Road at the time?
60 Goulburn Road and 74 Goulburn Road. And I was a paralegal. So I was getting people out of police stations. I did a lot of juvenile crime, representing the kids that were being arrested. But I had a client. I was sent to take statements because I would take statements in prison or whatever. And I was sent to take a statement from a client on Lanc West. Now, I'd never been onto Lanc West. I was just given the information, told how to get there. So obviously, I'm walking around and all these crossways. And I didn't grow up on a council estate. I grew up in a very privileged, very middle-class background. So I wasn't really used to council estates. I'd been on them, obviously, over the years, but I wasn't somebody... And as I find my way coming up to, I think it was like Hurst Way or one of them, suddenly I see a woman running down the corridor with a knife, chasing a person.
Oh, my God.
And I thought to myself, OMG, if ever there was a stereotype for like middle-class people, would be like, don't go there, that's what you're... And that's what I saw. It didn't faze me because I come from an activist background, but I did think, rah.
It was a mad place, but I mean, it had such a wonderful community as well. But you know, I remember one time when I was living on Lancaster West, and my eldest son was sick, and I phoned for a doctor, and the doctor actually told me that they would not visit Lancaster West because
Wow.
their drugs were stolen if they came onto the estate.
OMG. But you see, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because that was a stereotype.
wild.
But I actually think the people there probably had a beautiful community, and they still.
They
you know,
did. Oh, they had
I
a
think
wonderful
so. I think there was lots of
community.
love, and the guy probably deserved it anyway.
You know, I mean, there was an elderly lady who lived next door to me, and you know, everybody in the neighbourhood always used to check on her if they hadn't seen her for a day or two. Oh, have you seen Anne? Have you seen Anne? You
And I
know,
think that's one of the things as well about stories. Stories often, you know, they revise or they tell the truth in a way, or not tell the truth. Are they an antidote to that kind of stereotype? Because there's the idea, oh, these working class people on these estates and they're all violent and da-da-da. But actually, there's beautiful stories about community and stuff, and that's why it's important to hear those stories. Because otherwise, you know, the woman with the knife is a stereotype that you see.
Yeah. Like, you know, my two oldest sons grew up on Lancaster West Estate. I mean, they have wonderful memories of growing up there and the friendships they made there. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we can't wait for the weekend. We can't wait for Sunday afternoon when you guys will be listing the stories of Latimer. And you'll see that we ask, are you listening on Sunday afternoon? We will be listening to you. Naima, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You'll be pleased, I hope, that your Grenfell poem is included in part of the soundscape.
Marvellous.
which
I'm so pleased.
We listened to a little weird Professor Brainstorm demo of this morning on various phones and things. Thanks so much for dropping by.
Thank you
See
for
you on
having me.
Sunday
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Thank you.
We'll have some more sunny music. Yeah, that's Booker T and the MG's version of Sunny, which you'll have heard multiple versions
Sunny.
of. Yeah, that's
Isn't it
instrumental.
sunny?
chord.
We are actually celebrating the sunshine on Portobello Road.
Yeah, though funnily enough, I don't know whether it's Glastonbury or what, but
You'd like to think it was Glastonbury, wouldn't you?
it's quite quiet. I mean, everyone knows Friday's the day to come to the Portobello because
But
they're
there's so much happening, though.
Yeah.
Like, literally. I mean, we're going to talk about Windrush Day yesterday, but there's so much stuff going on.
yeah, it's midsummer, it's the solstice. We nearly touched the sky, nearly touched the sun on Wednesday at 3:57 p.m.
Yeah, and I think that for many people as well, like people who don't have children, for example, this is a prime time maybe to go away to another part of the country where it's nice and hot. There are no screaming children running around. You have a holiday. You don't have to pay the, enhanced prices.
Enhanced.
The enhanced summer, 6-week prices that go up for the school stuff. So, yeah, I think you could see why there may be not as many people as there would be on this beautiful sunny afternoon.
Yeah, and I think the vintage people have been saying that they don't really sell clothes when it's this hot because people are kind of scared to be sweaty trying them on and that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's all that. I never thought
Yeah.
about that, yeah. There you go.
Talking of sunny, boy, was it sunny yesterday.
Hell yeah.
I mean, too hot.
Not for me, of course.
No. We were streaming, and I hope some of you tuned in, the Windrush Day celebrations put on by the Westway Trust. It was on Portobello Green. Faye of this very station said to me at one point it was one of the nicest events she'd ever been to in her life.
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, it was really, really chilled. I mean, just to say, we kicked off Windrush Day in the borough at 11:30ish when Sister Flowers, big shout out to Sister Queen Flowers, and the Blackbird, I think they're called, collective.
Yeah,
They did the raising of the Windrush flag at the town hall, and it was a beautiful event. Big shout out to RBKC as well for doing it.
Did you have any choirs or anything down there?
No, there was Pandiva played. Blah 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 blah. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Some tunes.
Yeah, we had the High Commissioner from Barbados who gave it was a bit too long to be fair, but it was a really powerful and very political speech for a High Commissioner. You don't normally hear that sort of thing. And it was really beautiful. A lot of the elders were there, which is really nice. Obviously, Pepe spoke about his arrival in this country and his experiences, etc. And so, yeah, it was good. And it's just really important to mark it. It's just the fact that they did it, so that's good.
That's Pepe from Ebony.
Yeah, Pepe Francis, the man himself, Ebony.
Yeah.
And then we got over to Portobello Green and kicked it off there.
Yeah, and we had a great day. It started off with Age UK doing some soca fitness class, which was quite extraordinary. Then the Pepper Pot Choir.
Oh, the Voices, Pepper Pot Voices, they're called. I was corrected. Pepper Pot Voices did a couple of tunes.
Yeah, they did the Jimmy Cliff tune.
You can get it if you really want.
And then we had a series of great acts. We had Rumsey. We had a great woman called Jaleisha,
Yeah,
who
she
I'd
was
never
very good,
seen
yeah.
before.
Amy?
Amy Sincere, who's been on this
yeah,
show
man.
a couple of times.
Brilliant.
And then we played a few tunes. We went back to the stage and we had the Rum Band, the brilliant band, jazz band, who played the Tabernacle on Tuesdays.
They were a good selection.
They
A
played.
good choice.
Pandiva got up again. And then it finished off with
Mr. Smokey.
Bubbles.
Oh,
doing
Bubbles,
a couple
sorry,
of
yeah.
tunes. And Bubbles was followed by Smokey Joe.
Big shout
did
out to Smokey Joe. He's the man.
a great set, which we're hopefully going to replay tomorrow at some point.
Good.
And
Brilliant.
Smokey's he's a real warrior because he had to put up with me next to him grabbing the mic off. He had to put up with me next to him grabbing the mic off and teasing him and stuff, and he still just kept on his game. So big shout out to Smokey. He's
Yeah.
the man.
And
Amazing.
big shout out to Jeff Schumann. A lot of you.
Oh yeah, Jeff Schumann was fantastic as
Big-
well. He just
He did a bit comparing for us yesterday. He great. The gel on the event.
And he'd had an
Amazing, holding
accident
it all
on the
together.
way in, but
I
so
know,
he
he
was
did,
a,
yeah.
he was a little bit shaken.
he
but
was a bit shaken, but he also he blended well in, and he was very chilled because very chilled.
So Windrush Day, and then there were a couple of unveilings.
Of the star, I think the Windrush star. Oh no, there was the
There was the
marine
marine
pond,
pool,
the
which
marine
we
pool.
talked about last week with Junior Tomlin, which sits outside the Maxilla, kind of right where you're invited to stand while you're listening to the sounds of Latimer over the course of the weekend. And then the Windrush Star, which also Junior's
Well, the
talked
Windrush
us-
Star is actually part of the Walk of Honour, which is an initiative that our friend Loftus Burton set up. Big shout out to Lofty, of course. And the idea is we've created a star for sports, a star for the market, a star for community, a star for arts and culture. Is that 5?
I think it's only 4, but there's probably another one.
There is market, community. Anyway, we have these stars, and they will be put in underneath the Westway where we walk through, where the market is in metal. They'll be made. And, the 5th star is the Windrush Star, sorry, of course. And so the Windrush Star was made out of mosaics. And the other 5 stars are at the moment placeholders underneath the Westway. If you walk under, you'll see, and they eventually will be made out of metal and sunk in. And then we'll have small stars shooting off where we recognize individuals. So, for example, the community, I'm wondering, maybe somebody might nominate Portobello Radio. Who knows? I don't know. But, you have small stars as well. So somebody might nominate Leslie, for example, and they'll have certain individuals will also get stars. So we're sorting out the criteria, and then we'll be putting it out to vote.
Amazing. Looking forward to that. Sounds
and
great.
Junior, of course, designed all of the stars.
Beautiful. Junior Tomlin, excellent geezer. Mental.
Yeah, Motorman, who does... he just
how
keeps
much does he
churning.
do?
He
He's
keeps
as
churning.
bad as Gregsy.
He's prolific. He's great. He's great. There's nothing bad about it.
Anyway, one of the highlights yesterday was Bubbles singing this.
Wow.
Audrey, where you get that sugar? Darling, there is nothing sweeter. You make me scream, you make me bawl, you make me feel like 10 foot tall. Audrey, every time you wiggle, darling, you put me in trouble. You torture me the way you whine. I love to see your fat behind.
Sugar boom, sugar boom.
Sugar Bum, Sugar Bum. That was amazing, absolutely amazing. And he did a live set, did he, yesterday?
Yeah.
What was his other magnificently famous tune?
Oh, we're going to play it in a little while.
Oh, will we? Oh, good. In that case, I won't.
Ask no questions, Gregsy.
Yeah,
Ask
man,
no
I won't
questions.
go out that road. Not in
But
that
he
road,
was
no.
fantastic. Big shout out to
Yeah.
Bubbles as ever.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Quite a few people, that was their one. They were saying, what time's Bubbles on? And then we'll come down. And it's like, no, just come down anyway. Brilliant.
Yeah, people love Bubbles.
Absolutely brilliant. No, it was good fun.
Everyone.
It was good fun.
We did have fun.
We had a great time.
Yeah, it's Heaven and Hell by the 20th Century Steel Band is what we'll be playing in a while, which was Bubbles' big hit, which
Brilliant.
was then sampled by West Side Story.
And everyone, actually. It wasn't just West Side Story.
No, it
was
really came back last year, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, man.
We're hoping that Alessana will be down to join us to tell us all about the One Heart Festival that happened at the Westway Sports Centre last
Yeah,
weekend.
man, that looked like amazing, absolutely
Yeah,
amazing. There
that
was
was-
loads of soch going off on that one. She always pulls an absolute cracker out the bag, Alexandra.
Yeah.
She's amazing, absolutely amazing. Great force of nature.
Indeed. So, Gregsy, what have you been up to this week?
Wow, well, it was my adorable's birthday yesterday on Windrush
Happy
Day.
belated strong birthday to your beautiful other half.
Yeah,
Kim.
there you go. And we
Happy
had a crack.
birthday, Kim.
We ended up in a tabernacle, believe it or not, which was dead because everybody had gone elsewhere.
Yeah.
Either on the green down here with you guys, or off to Glastonbury, or off to Ascot.
No,
It
there was,
all going off, man.
When I was going back and forth in the morning to Portobello Green to deal with the various issues that were arising on a minute-by-minute basis, every time I passed this magnificent group of fabulously dressed people, I thought they were from Pepper Pop, but they actually were a bit too young for that. They were obviously from the Tab, and they were all off to Ladies' Day at Ascot.
Isn't that amazing? A great opportunity to dress up, look beautiful, and show yourself off. Excellent, absolutely excellent. So
In
man.
fact, you know, the first time I found out about this Ladies' Day, African Ladies' Day at Ascot was a few years ago, and somebody sent a clip. And
Yeah.
it was all these, it was literally like a dance hall session. It was like rap, and everybody was like dance. And I was thinking, but I couldn't work out the surroundings. Turned out to be
Amazing.
in Ascot, African Women's Day.
Ah, wicked. Absolutely wicked, yeah. So, all right, here we go.
That, of course, is Birmingham's finest, Steel Pulse with Prodigal Son. Led, of course, by Michael Riley, who has
Who's
been...
an academic and has been lecturing at University of Westminster. Is also responsible for the reggae choir and all sorts of
The
stuff.
reggae
Philharmonic
orchestra.
orchestra, that's
yes.
it. Yeah.
Well done. We
Yeah.
have a terrific story on the Clash Fans Against the Right show on this show when he was our special guest, where he tells us all about the Reggae Philharmonic and the relationship between the Reggae Philharmonic and the Royal Philharmonic and how they actually ended up gigging out together.
Wow, that's an interesting eclectic mix there.
Mental, absolutely mental. No, he's a diamond. He's an absolutely bright, shining diamond, that guy. I have a lot of respect for him and for his musical talent.
Yeah. And talking of the Wednesday evening talk radio, we were delighted this week to welcome back Aidan McManus.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Who did a really brilliant show with a man called Alan Williams.
Wicked, absolutely
who
wicked.
was the editor of Melody Maker for a while. I mean, I always thought Melody Maker was a little bit naff back in the day.
Alan Jones.
Alan Jones.
Jones.
I knew it was a Welsh name.
Yeah, it was a very Welsh name, although he's got a Kiwi accent. I love it.
Yeah.
The whole thing's a conundrum. But he's a comedian, man. That's a funny ass show.
Yeah, it's a
That
very
That would
funny
be very
show.
funny
Yeah.
because Aidan, what an obnoxious guy. I really like him. No, I love it.
He's an acquired taste.
I love it.
I
love
wouldn't
his.
say obnoxious.
I think that's
you know.
that's what he cultivates.
Yeah,
and
he
he does it
yeah,
well, and I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah.
I really like his vibe.
Listen, he used to run the bookmakers here just next to what we used to call the Market Bar, the Ukai. It was hard as nails down
You
the
mean the
Portobello
one
Road
round the
in
corner
the
in
80s.
the Ladbrokes?
And it was the Ladbrokes, yeah. Yeah, man, I think so. Yeah. My point being is he's hard as nails. You know, he really knows how to hold himself and look after himself. He used to run a bookmakers that would get raided literally every day. It was full of quite hard Rastafarians. You know, the whole thing was quite full on, mate. It was pretty full on, and I just have deep admiration for the guy. He was a bouncer in San Francisco in the clubs in the late 80s.
In the Mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So
also
again,
he speaks truth to power.
Yeah.
But he does it in this obnoxious way, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it just comes across. I really like the energy.
It cuts
we need
through
more of
everything.
that.
We
exactly.
do need more of that.
We need more
You're
of that.
right. You're absolutely right, which is why we love the kids. Anyway, it has now been Mixclouded, so get your bums involved.
Get on board to the Portobello Radio Mixcloud page.
I don't know what your bums are doing with it,
But
Grexy, but I'll ask no more question about
no,
that
don't, but
one,
they listen to music a lot.
Okay.
Anyway, if you want more Aidan and you're not sated by the 122 Flipside London radio shows he's done, of course you can follow him on a tour of Nottingdale. He showed up at the Windrush Day, having done his final recce of Nottingdale.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a hell of a view of what happened there, from the piggeries, the potteries, to Frestonia, to Charles Dickens, to all the amazing films that have been shot around Latimer, through of course to the fire, the riots and everything else, turn up at 12:30 at Latimer Road Station.
Brilliant.
In a perfect world, you get on Eventbrite, search Aidan McManus.
Yeah, man. There's only 20 people allowed on this one, and we're already half booked. So
get on Eventbrite.
Get on Eventbrite to guarantee yourself a ticket. We won't turn you down if there's under 20 people when it's time to leave at 12:30 on Sunday. But you know, if you guys want to get involved, then it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's a terrific guy. He really knows his onions, and he'll be taking us around the piggeries and potteries, around the ocean. Around, you know, all the Frestonia.
Take you to the kiln, the workhouse.
The workhouses, exactly. So, you know, and you get all the background history about that as well.
To Bangor Street, which was one of the most insalubrious streets in London back in the turn of the...
And of course the racecourse. You know, everything about this area, and particularly Nottingdale. Brilliant, absolutely superb. What geezer, what a walk. That's one of 3 walks, in essence, that we're presenting this weekend. The other one...
The first one is on the Soundscape, starts at 11.
So on the Soundscape, meaning that we're going to be broadcasting that through speakers that are hung underneath the Westway, down outside the Maxilla Social Club.
Yep, and we're going to be on Sunday morning at 11. We're going to be playing our multi-microphone recording of the Silent Walk. It's going to be an immersive experience. We had a little taster of it this morning.
Didn't we just? It was quite emotional.
Yeah.
Quite an emotional moment, but wonderful. Amit, who is our audio god, I've been referring to him on social media, has put together the most fantastic sequence of audio events, shall we say. over these speakers. So it's a real experience, man.
Come and check it out.
Yeah.
Come for 10 minutes and, you know, who knows, you may end up staying for hours.
Well, with a bit of luck you will. Certainly if you microdose in the morning before you come down, you'll definitely stay around for hours. So, yeah, get involved. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And
everything.
the second walk
Yeah.
is Aidan's Walk at 12:30.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And
yeah.
that is a guided social history tour of Nottingdale, starting and ending at Latimer Road Station. Then an hour later at 3 p.m, and we're encouraging you to go on both walks if you can. They're only 90 minutes. Ethan Cohen, the young sound artist who's been leading listening walks down the canal now ever since lockdown started.
Wow, so nearly a couple of years.
Yeah, he is doing his
Brilliant.
first urban walk, and we will follow Aidan's path, hoping to listen to the ghosts of Nottingdale.
So when you say that very quickly, it's in silence, this walk. You
It's
kind of
in
walk
silence,
around.
and he encourages you with prompts to
Yeah.
listen hard to specific things.
Prompts being pieces of paper that he'll just show you. Keep yourself quiet, and it will be, as you say, like, you know, stand here for 2 minutes and just listen, see if you can hear the ghosts of this particular area or this particular building. Or yeah, man, vibe it, baby, vibe it. It's crazy shit. Love it.
Vibe it. Let the sun shine. the sun shining. And that's what we're going to be doing all this week because, of course, it is Chelsea, Kensington and Chelsea Art Week, which started on Thursday. And there's so many events going on all around the neighbourhood.
Yes.
Sounds of Latimer is part of it, and the Festival of Small Events is part of it.
Absolutely.
This show right here at the Muse is part of it.
The residency in the gallery at the Muse. Yeah, man. It's wonderful artwork. We'll be talking about that in a minute.
Yeah, you should pop down here because apart from anything else, you can pick up a copy of the art guide, and that has all sorts of things going on.
So this is for the Kensington Chelsea Art Week,
yeah,
KCAW.
more and more going on up here in North Ken.
Yeah.
Akavar have got an open studios, for instance, tomorrow, Saturday, all day. Akavar just by the Pig and Whistle by Latimer Road Tube.
Latimer Road Tube Station, man.
Bletchenden Street.
Yeah, Sam McEwen. What other wonderful artists have they got down there?
Angela de la Cruz, who was nominated for the Turner Prize in 2010.
Yeah.
You can go up to David Hill's gallery, where he's still showing Baldwin Lee, a Southern portrait, some amazing pictures taken in the 80s.
At the top of Ladbroke Grove, that one is.
Yeah, Baldwin Lee not only took these extraordinary pictures of the black communities in America's southern states, but also pioneered a number of weird lens techniques so that the focus is really interesting in that.
I love this. Brilliant.
Camerton Arts are in the guide. They're playing at the North Ken Resource Centre tomorrow afternoon
which
at 3.
Again, just around the corner from Akavar's Open Art Studios.
Yeah.
So you could tie the two things in with one.
Spid Theatre Company are in the guide. They're part of Camerton Arts
brilliant
show.
Oh, brilliant.
The Playground Theatre in here with lots and lots of things, one of which is Viva for Estonia, community play reading that we're doing with them.
We're doing with them at the Harrow Club, is that right?
Harrow Club.
Yeah, man, which is opposite Latimer Road Tube Station. So Latimer Road Tube Station seems to be the place to be either on Saturday or Sunday or both this
And
weekend.
there will be some floor stickers taking you to the North Ken Resource Centre because everyone finds it a little bit difficult to get to.
They certainly do. Yes, and there will probably be lots of people in gilets jaunes, in high-vis jackets. If you see somebody in high-vis jackets, then just grab them and say, "Where is this?" And they will either give you a flyer with a map on it, or indeed they will direct you as to whereabouts you need to be for that particular event. So keep your eyes out for the yellow jackets with the Sounds of Latimer logo on the back of them. Don't go accosting street cleaners.
Interestingly, there's a TV series called Yellow Jackets, which I've not watched, but I've heard about it, and it's about a group of schoolgirls or college girls or something that crash somewhere, and it's kind of like a bit of Lord of the Flies type flavour.
Oh,
and there's
great.
Psycho girls in yellow jackets. So
mental. I like this already.
So just thinking about Yellow Jackets.
Do you know what platform it's on?
Yeah, I think it's on Prime.
Oh, brill. Absolutely brill. Superb. All right, I'll have to get my Prime stick plugged in.
Yeah, and check out some Yellow Jackets.
While we're on Kensington Chelsea Art Week, there's a late opening tonight at Studio West, round the corner from us now in Kensington Park Road. That's a group exhibition called The Angel in the House, featuring 7 emerging UK-based female painters.
Brilliant.
Jess Allen, Pippa L. Cardi-Brown, Ola Primark, Florence Ricci, Elena Rivera Montanes, Grace Tobin and Zhu Wang.
Zhu Wang, what a name. I like that. I like that a lot.
You'll be interested in this, Isis. Tonight there is an art show and auction at Bousfield Primary School.
So that is
my alma mater.
OMG, is that part of the Kensington Chelsea Art Week?
Wow, tonight being Friday night. This is broadcast live every Friday from the Portobello Road, and then we repeat it both on Saturday and Sunday. So if you listen to this on Saturday, there's still time to go down there.
I have to say, Bousfield is a fantastic,
a fantastic
school. Wow.
And they have a fabulous amphitheatre.
And they also have such great events. Oh my God, literally, like our school plays were like actual productions, and we never had just like a nativity thing. It was just always brilliant. Love Bousfield.
Yeah, and it was built around the same time as Holland Park. Holland Park obviously has sold half its land
in their dodgy dealings, yes,
to luxury homes, but Bousfield still has that extraordinary garden, still has the amphitheatre. Quite a sight to behold.
And it's such a lovely location as well.
Yeah. And of course, the other important thing about Kensington Chelsea Art Week is the public art trail, and there's a chance next weekend to to go round the public art trail, isn't there, Gregsy?
There certainly is, yeah, man, absolutely. It's going to be fantastic, absolutely fantastic fun. So much going on this weekend, man, so much going on. It's brilliant.
So much going on. Get on the Kensington and Chelsea Art Week site. Follow KCAW on Instagram and Twitter. And just get out there into the sunshine.
Yeah, man. It's
Indeed,
brilliant.
indeed.
Absolutely super
So
duper.
much to do to make the most of it, because actually the 21st was the longest day of the year.
It was.
And we need to be aware now we're actually going backwards.
We're on our way to
We're
Christmas.
on our way back to the 21st of December, the shortest
Don't
day
be
of the
so
year.
boring.
No, I'm not. I'm
you
quite
are.
no contrary, actually, Mr. Gregsy. It's the point that seize the time, carpe diem.
Carpe diem, absolutely.
Yes, let's
I'm down
go
with
for it
that.
now, because
I'm
we
totally-
don't know when we're not going to have this lovely sunshine.
Absolutely, absolutely. But don't, in the middle of the holiday, say, when are we going home? Right?
Oh,
That's wrong.
no,
That's just wrong.
no.
Brilliant.
We're delighted. Alison has
Just
just
walked through the
arrived in
door.
the studio,
A
so
ray-
we're going to talk to her in a minute. But
a
you're
ray of
gonna play a
light.
tune
No, I'm just going to put
for-
some, some nice sunny music on, but a different kind of sunny music.
Come on.
From Bamandait, Libyanka. I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Now did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Now did you notice me? Nobody will know the paranoia. Cause I put a smile on my face, a facade you can never face. And if you don't know me well, you won't see how buried I am inside my grave. Inside my grave. Cause you see people don't really know you. They don't really know you. Cause you see people, they don't really know you. They don't really know. I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Or did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Or did you notice me? Holy Father, they drive over my head. As they make you no leave me deep. Holy Father, yeah. Oh, make you try to understand. Yeah, we get no day for you. Cause you see people don't really know you. They don't really know you. Cause you see people, they don't really know you. They don't really know. I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Or did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Or did you notice me? I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Or did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Or did you notice me?
Yes, that was Lee Bianca. And of course, that was People. I think it was a big hit a couple of years ago, one of those Afrobeat tunes.
And there's Afrobeat actually on tonight at Bar Love. Voodoo are playing Afrobeats at Bar Love this evening.
I have no idea who they are, but I know that if I'm involved with the Trellick Festival, I'll definitely drop some Afrobeat tunes.
Cool.
It's my
Talking of
thing.
Bar Love, they've got another great weekend. It's Voodoo tonight. Tomorrow is DJ Pops and Louise. Big call out to for house music there. And Sunday it is Bullet and the Hardway Band.
Amazing, because of course Loretta Hay was there last week, or this week just gone.
With Melodica
with
Blues.
Melodica Blues, which absolutely smashed it. The crowds were so big, they were up outside here. So it's at the Muse, a few doors up. So it was a really good night, really good night. It's going to be a good week for Bar Love. Amazing.
Yeah, that probably means that Bar Love will be closed down before too long. Anyway,
normally that'll be the standard form round.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yes.
We're delighted to welcome Anasada. Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
You last time you were in, you were talking about your songwriting workshop that's been going on the Portobello. Just before we talk about the One Heart Festival, you obviously weren't there last week because you were under the Westway with the One Heart Festival.
Yep. We had the One Heart Festival on Saturday. And the purpose of it was, just to bring everyone together, cheer everyone up a bit after a tough week, and just fun, free day. So, thousands of people. I think we provided like over 5,000 meals, I counted today, free meals. Yeah. And there was loads of people involved, loads of local organisations.
Local artists.
Local artists. So it was just a real positive day for everyone, just to kind of celebrate our community, really.
And you say after a hard week, because obviously it was last weekend, it was 3 days after the 6th anniversary.
Yep. Yeah.
And it happens underneath the Westway at the Westway Sports Centre.
Yep.
Split into zones.
Yep.
And the we in this case is Youth Action Alliance.
Yeah, so it was organised by myself on behalf of Youth Action Alliance, and we had about 52 partners, I counted, and lots of people came together to help. And we had football tournaments run by Chelsea and QPR, and we had 10 different zones. Sports, we had a Elders Park, which was for afternoon tea and bingo.
Yeah, that was great, that little bit.
That was very popular, actually. Like, there was over twice as many people as we anticipated.
And did the lady who runs Waitrose turn up there as well?
The lady who runs, I think it was Waitrose, John Lewis Waitrose. Yeah, she came down, Sharon White.
Yeah.
That was really nice of her, actually, to come on a Saturday. But I think she was quite impressed by everything. And I think because she's from East London, she was sort of like, oh, wow, there's such a big sense of community here. So,
yeah, well, we have that, don't we?
Yeah.
The One Heart Festival started the year of the fire, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's been going every year bar COVID. So it went last year, but it's always been called the North Kensington Youth and Community Festival, which is like quite long to say. Yeah. I get exhausted after I say it sometimes, but so that's what people kind of know it as, but we thought we'd kind of rename it as the One Heart Community Festival, because it's bringing everyone together but paying tribute to Grenfell as well. So we had a beautiful, if anyone's around Westway Sports Centre, if you go through under the underpass by the tennis courts, there's a really beautiful wall with a poem. It's like a painting, a mural that some local artists did based on Aisha's poem Never Forget.
Yeah.
And it's like really beautiful. So if anyone's around, have a look at that.
That's Aisha, the young girl who read a poem last year at the 5th anniversary, and that poem is in fact part of Sounds of Latimer this year. It's going to be in the soundscape, along with stuff from Youth Action Alliance, stuff from KAA, stuff from Kids on the Green, stuff from the Travellers Camp. So. As you so eloquently put it yesterday, it's not all about the past of Latimer, is it? Sounds of Latimer. It's very.
And I think also for the young people, really, the future is important because, of course, as the old adage goes, you don't know where you don't know where you're going unless you know where you're coming from. But for young people, I think often that the past is often, it's they're looking at the future.
Yeah,
really. You know what I mean? It's a different mindset, isn't it?
Can take a bad shadow if you look too much at the past. Look to the future as being something bright.
Well, if you
and
only
beautiful and something
look at the
really
past, but don't look at what you can learn from it. If you keep repeating it.
Yeah.
If you look at the past and say, okay, this went wrong, and like we're never going. You know what I mean?
Typical
going there
human
again.
problem. That
Basically,
one.
yeah.
Typical
Otherwise,
human problem.
I have to say, one of the things I love about this area, though, is how engaged young people are with the past of the area, and it's amazing to hear 18-year-old kids talking about Frestonia or even the piggeries and the potteries.
Yeah, man.
Talking about young people, I was amazed just the sheer number of young people at the festival last week.
Yeah.
It bodes well for the future of the neighbourhood. I mean, sometimes you think it's just a place full of crusty old gits like me, but actually there are loads of young people.
There's actually quite a lot. They come out. They come out.
They come out when you go home.
Football is always really popular. So the football tournaments always bring. I think there's like 332 young people in the football tournament, but.
And that's girls and boys.
Yeah. That's girls and boys. So yeah, and then there was basketball tournaments, but it's nice because it's just all different ages, and yeah, it's just people mixing together.
I went last year. I think because Saturdays I'm normally in South London, but I remember it was fantastic last year. It was a really good mix. So.
Yeah, and this year, because last year I got camels, thinking that you could ride the camels, right? Then realise you can't. They just sit there. So I'm like, all right, this year we got ponies instead.
And camels
I didn't see them, but yeah.
Camels take up a lot of space.
They do, and they're
huge.
Expensive as well.
I bet they are.
Yeah, trying to get a camel to move. Just sitting on its
they're
back.
Stubborn.
It's really hard.
Really stubborn. They're just grumpy. So yeah, ponies.
And they spit at people.
Yeah. Get a dromedary any day of the week. The other thing, of course, is you had a stage with performers.
Yeah. So we had 20 different performers. So we started off with a showcase with young local performers. So there's dance groups, there was singers, rappers, and then the first prize was like half a day recording studio session in Jukebox Studio, which is down the road, and then National Theatre tickets. And then we had some bands on. I played with my band. There was an amazing, they're called the Akaboo Queens, but they're the world's first all-female reggae band, and there's like about 10 of them, and they were just like, they were
amazing.
Yeah, they were amazing. So
they were really
and they
great.
tour all over the world, but they're local, so they very kindly said that they would perform for us.
I think we had one of them on the show.
Yes, we did. She was doing something in Brent at that Brent is it
Music Collective.
Yeah, that BBM place that used to.
Where they rehearse. Yep. Yeah, they were amazing. So yeah, that was good.
And very visual.
Yeah, and like there's one of them, like they had the flags and they were all dressed in like camo, like kind of matching but different outfits. Yeah, it was really cool.
So how do people get... we're delighted, I'm not sure if this is a secret, but next year's charity partner of Kensington and Chelsea Art Week is going to be Youth Action Alliance, and we're hopefully going to make that really work over the whole year rather than... This year's charity partner is the Playground Theatre, who are a fantastic group, but that was all organised at the last minute. But how do people find Youth Action Alliance?
So it's quite hard to find where we actually are unless you know where it is. But
No, I meant kind of online.
Oh,
actually.
Online. Online. You just go to www.youthactionalliance.org.
Great.
Yeah.
And particularly anyone out there who is sitting on a pile of money, Youth Action Alliance does amazing work. A lot of it is very granular. It's one-to-ones. It's not... I mean, there was football. There is football, but it's not all glamour and stuff. A lot of it is hard graft, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of it's it's a real range from group sessions, like with girls group, or football sessions, but also just very focused one-to-one support for people who need it.
Yeah, and some of those young people are very vulnerable, and I know from my trustees report that we have helped to pull people back from the brink. I won't go into details, but a number of brinks over the last 12 months. So anyone who can contribute in any way, particularly financially, to Youth Action Alliance, please get in touch with either us or directly with Youth Action Alliance. Alistair, thank you so much. When will we hear you playing next?
If you come down to the Trellick Festival on Saturday 15th of July, I'll be performing some of the songs that I've written in collaboration with members of the community on my songwriting stall. So yeah, that is the next place and time.
Great. And if people want to get back
Online.
on the songwriting stall, will
Yeah.
you be there
Where
next
are you?
week?
Yeah, so it changes every week. I was trying to be as much towards the posh end, but I haven't had that much luck.
Not getting up. You've got to get up earlier.
No, I am. I was there like first, but because they do the lottery system, so it has tended to be around near Acklam, so it should be easy to find. So not tomorrow because I'm recovering still from the festival, but from the following Saturday, yeah.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
So you could create a song with Alessandra that
Yep.
gets played on stage at Trellick.
Yep.
Bring your stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Hey. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta take a little time to think things over. I gotta read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In my head, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. I know you can show me. I'm gonna take a little time to look around me. Yeah, I got nowhere left to hide. Seems like love has finally found me. Oh, in my head, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. I can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. Yeah. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. I wanna feel so good. I know you can show me. I wanna know, I wanna know. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you can show me. I wanna know, I wanna know, wanna know, I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is.
Yes, that's a classic, of course. I think we all know that track. And of course, but this version is by Tisan. So yes, enjoy summer music.
Enjoy the summer music. Talking of the Kensington and Chelsea Art Week, we're sitting here in the middle of a new show at the Muse Gallery.
Number 269 Portobello Road.
Yeah, it's the residence group show, as many of you will probably know by now. Every year, a group, 3 or 4 young artists recently out of art school are invited to come and work in the back of the Muse Gallery, amongst the other amazing things that go on in this place. And 6 months later, which is usually around June, they put on a group exhibition showing the work that they've put together during the course of that 6 months.
Marvellous.
And there's loads of great stuff around. I'm really intrigued by these burnt offerings.
Not only the burnt offerings, the piece of burnt stick that made the burnt offerings. I love that piece. No, you're right. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that caught my eye as well, actually.
Yeah.
There is something about burning paper and getting those marks on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. In the back there, we've got some fantastic sculptures and some 3D work, which is amazing. We got some
really interesting kind of monochrome black and white work around the.
I like the ghosties.
Yeah.
They're rather cute.
No, absolutely.
I can't remember what you call that. That's a piece of art that's in a kind of box.
Yeah.
There's a word for that.
Is there? I'm glad you can't remember it.
If I knew the word, I'd probably get shouted down
because we
by you
had a
lot.
triptych again. Oh, what is it, Piers? Is there a word that rhymes with triptych that describes that, perhaps?
Who knows? Who knows?
But I just like the ghosties.
Can you read out the names of the artists that are displaying in this one?
I can't.
Really.
Yes, I can.
Oh, here we go.
So the artists that we have are Eleni. Oh, no, you know what? I'm going to let you read it, actually, because my pronunciation is terrible.
We got Matthew Doddart, who I think was on the show in January.
Brilliant.
If I'm not much mistaken.
Yeah, okay.
We got Lauren Goldie.
Wow.
We got Christina Schmiel.
Lovely, amazing work.
And we've got Eleni Marigaki.
Yay, who's actually in the room with us now, but
and
she's going to come on the radio next week, she's promised. So that would be fantastic. Looking forward to that. And her explaining some of her artwork. It's very monochromic, but it's also, again, in the 3D. Monochromatic, I've just been corrected.
Again, calling out to anyone who still has some money in their pocket during this cost of living crisis, you can buy stuff down here, get in on the ground floor with an emerging young artist.
Brilliant.
There's stuff as cheap as 25 quid.
Wow.
So,
that's a bargain.
That is getting in on the ground floor if
Isn't
ever I heard it.
Amazing. And not only is it amazing for the punters out there like Muse and Muse, but also amazing for the young talent that's put this show together. They are
It's very
spectacular.
inspiring if someone buys your work.
Yeah, man. It's really, really empowering, and it gives you loads of confidence for doing it again and again and again and getting your beautiful work out there. So
and shows your value.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody needs value.
You're
Everybody's got value.
Because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. Because it's worth it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loads of excitement's going on down here in the Portobello Road, more precisely down at 269 Portobello Road.
Yeah, and if you want to see what's going on right now, of course, get onto the YouTube channel, Muse Film.
Yeah, man. I tweeted
You can
it out.
actually see us, look.
Yeah, there you
Here
go.
we are, we're real.
There you go. And I tweeted it out at the beginning of the show and do pretty much every show that we do. So if you ever want to know where the link is, then either look it up on YouTube by typing in Portobello Radio or typing in Muse, M-U-S-E, film. Or
Muse Film.
Muse.
We'll just get on Twitter, and we're delighted that Twitter have allowed us to put our own website up there. Again, having blocked us for 2 weeks because they thought we were dodgy.
Yeah, hilarious.
That's good coming from
dodgy?
you.
How
Elon
dare they?
Musk.
I know, Elon Musk saying we're dodgy.
Yeah, it's great.
Hello.
It's great.
Hello and goodbye, Elon.
Hey, bless you. Well, thankfully he didn't buy a ticket to go and see the Titanic in a bubble.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was a bad thing, I don't know.
Let's have some Mikey Spice.
Yes, me friend, me good friend, me dip on street again. Yes, me friend, I and I good friends, I'm on free again. Oh Lord, the bars could not hold me, gun could not control me now. They tried to keep me down, but the good Lord turned me around. Yes, I've been accused many a times and badly abused, but through the power of the Most High, they had to turn me loose, could not cannot control, I say. Yes, my friend, my good friend, me step on street again. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Yes, my friend, ooh, my friend, me step on street. Oh, oh, I'm on the loose again. Oh. Don't try to throw me off the bridge now. I've got to reach Mount Zion, yeah, yes, me John. If you are Bullbucker, oh, I'm a duppy conquer. Step on street again. Oh, don't try to show off and make your friend them laugh. What a la la, for Jah will cut you off now, and I will have the last laugh. Aye, aye. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, me friend, me good friend, me dip on street again. Oh, oh, oh. Yes, me friend, me good friend, I'm on dip on street again. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, me friend, no time to tarry, gotta move on.
Yes. That was Yes, Me Friend. I think that's what it was called. None other than Mikey Spice, of course. He has got that summertime vibey kind of thing
He's
going
got
on.
the summertime vibe, and North Kensington this weekend is the place to be if you've got a summertime vibe. We have our world famous market. There's a very interesting event going up at Meanwhile Gardens this week about.
Oh, what's this about now?
I don't really understand it, but it's something to do with that building that Metronomes.
Ah, yes, they're looking at how they want to. It's about I think some kind of consultation or engagement exercise. Or something.
And if you're up in Meanwhile Gardens, watch the guys with the skateboards go across the road to the Sporting Lisbon, where they'll be having a massive.
Yeah. Self-proclaimed studio manager. We haven't given you that title yet. Yeah, go on, Nandini. What? Worst studio manager.
Go to the Portuguese up there. Come to Latimer, to our event, the Sounds of Latimer. The Pig and Whistle will have a barbecue in the back garden, and also, of course, we'll have the fabulous pizzas.
When is this barbecue?
Tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon.
A free barbecue?
No.
Oh.
No.
No more free food, guys. No more free food.
No, if you want free food, you actually want to go hang around the Lank West Estate, where there is more free food than you could believe. Portobello Radio will continue to broadcast, of course, during the course of the weekend. And we repeat this show at midday every Saturday. And then get repeated again at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. We've got a full lineup of DJs tomorrow afternoon. It's the last weekend of the month, and we have our usual crew, which is Georgia, Lupita. I think that might be a rewind, because she will be with Sophie, I think. Sophie Lodge is bending your ears. She is making big ears as part of the Festival of Small Events. Yeah. Are you listening? We are listening.
A few people have asked me about that one. It is actually making massive ears. They're like kites, if you like, made out of tissue paper and
yeah,
wicker.
I mean, Sophie's made the hearts, the community heart that started the whole Grenfell heart thing. She's made butterflies. She's made bees.
Birds.
She's made birds.
Upside down garden.
Yeah, man, true. I remember that
She
one.
made
Brilliant.
dinosaurs with the
Children,
Coldwell School
yeah.
band.
Every carnival, there's a community heart.
So
Massive
now there's
on Labrador.
giant ears.
Yes, we're
Yeah,
making
baby.
2 big
Yeah,
ears.
man. It's gonna be mental. I'm really looking forward to the big ears.
You want a big ear, don't
yeah,
you, Greg?
I'm not,
You
I
really-
want 2 because
you
I
want-
want to be like King Charles.
Whoa.
You know that.
Ears
Brilliant.
and al.
No,
there-
Ears et al.
There are 2 communal big ears which are being made by Sophie and I think Matthew's come over from Ireland to help out, and then there'll be multiple little ears
Oh, cool.
which you could make yourself and take away, and we have stickers to use as your earrings on the ears.
Yay, I love it. Absolutely love it. Brilliant.
So lots to do up here in North Kent. I was talking about who's on the shows. The DJs tomorrow.
Oh, right, yeah, man. Saturday session,
So
Sunday
Georgia
rewind.
will probably rewind at 2.
Absolutely. We got a new one from Liam Tuke, man.
Yeah.
Wicked. That's the original Soul Boy. Debbie Gold, is she coming in for Foreign Office or is it somebody else?
It's
I can't
Ewan,
remember.
Ewan
It's
Smith,
Ewan.
the leader of the
Wow.
Foreign Office group.
Wow, brilliant.
He apologises that last month's set from Stack Up has not gone up yet.
but I think it's imminent. It's going to be out there. And when it does, we'll tweet and we'll social it. So keep an eye.
at 5 o'clock will be Edie.
Edie Ashley. Excellent.
At
cool.
6 o'clock,
Monoloca
Monoloca
mixtape. Am I going to grab one of those ones that we've got in the archive,
Yeah,
or we're going to grab one of the new ones that he's given me up front?
I think we're
suppose,
going to
yeah.
have one that we haven't played before. but
Beautiful, amazing.
Apologies if we're a bit behind. If any DJs are listening, we're a bit behind on the mix clouds, but we have been a little bit taken up by trying to get the festival small events together. So normal service will be resumed next week.
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant.
At 7 o'clock, we're rewinding the last Disco 45.
Brilliant! I love that. Excellent.
At 8 o'clock, we've got a brand new Chris Sullivan.
One Nation Under the Grove. Brilliant.
And at 9 o'clock, it's the master of
Drum and
liquid
bass.
jungle drum and bass.
Yeah, man. DITJ.
Yeah.
Love him.
Deechk, the mysterious enigma
Yeah, D in
wrapped
jungle.
in a riddle.
Yeah, man. He's wicked. Absolutely wicked.
He's so
yeah.
creative, it must come from the Muse, but we don't know where.
We're not
We've
too
been
sure.
looking in every corner.
Yeah, man. It's oozing from the cracks in the walls. I love it. Absolutely love it. Brilliant.
And then Sunday, we run all the DJs again at the same time, and at midday, you can have another listen to the Alan Jones
interview with the most amazing Aidan McManus on Flipside London Radio.
which was a cracker. I mean, I
It's a
dropped
cracker.
in for 5 minutes to listen to the recording and stayed for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
think I'm an Aidan McManus fan, actually. I didn't know who the hell he was, and then when I met him the other week, I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely
definitely.
brilliant. Superstars in the house. Wicked. And,
And,
if you want
while
to meet
we're
that man
talking-
in person, then this weekend.
Yeah, and talking of
He's
talk
definitely
radio,
worth meeting.
our talk radio offering, we just put up the most recent Bright Side of the Road.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant show.
Another literary one because it was Bloomsday. So if you're into James Joyce, if you feel you should be into James Joyce, which you should be, tune in, find out more, see
You
how
wanna-
you can get
A little taste of Irish culture
A
on
taste
a
of
Sunday
the
morning.
intellectual side of
Irish
Portobello
culture in
Radio.
London.
Ah,
Portobello
true that.
Radio.
We're brainy as fuck.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Intellectual
yeah.
side of Portobello Radio.
Yeah.
Just said it.
I rest my case indeed.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
And you'll be doing something tomorrow, will you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, of course. I'm on for Ferrity Radio 4 to 6. I'm the Eclectic Goddess and got the Speak Your Truth show. My special guests are Ras Cosine, who is originally from Namibia, I believe, and Sister Remy, who is known as a river walker. Now, the two of them are coming together to put on a festival in Botswana in October.
Brilliant.
So they're going to come into the studio with me. We're going to talk a lot about the music from Southwest Africa, play some tunes, and also talk about the festival and some of the artists. I've got a Zoom meeting with them after this, actually, to talk some of the Botswanan artists and from that region as well. So that should be great.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the river walking because one of the people, or two of the people we interviewed on the most recent Bright Side of the Road were Cherry Smith and Craig Jordan Baker. And they've written a book, half prose, half poetry, because they took a walk from the source of the River Bann in Northern Ireland
Yeah, man.
to Barmouth, which was the end of the river, and they foraged, they took little detours.
Well, I'll tell you what
it's
we'll
a really
do.
lyrical book.
I've had her on my show. I've had Sister Remy come on, Ramaya, or Remy for short. And what I will do is find out whether she might want to pop along at some point to Portobello Radio. Oh no, to Portobello Radio, and maybe tell us a little bit about the river walking.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you, Damien.
Brilliant.
In fact, you know, something I'm really interested in is why is Damien so tanned? What's he been up to?
Hey. Yeah, it's very sunny outside. Thank you. I've just been issued my ginger shot. That will get me awake again, won't it?
Yep. Shall we put on a track whilst we sort this out? Shall we put a track on while we sort this out? Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, man. Brilliant. Here we go.
Did I have some volume there? Yes, that was Sanchez with Praise Him.
Praise indeed.
Praise him for the sunshine. Or praise her. If there is a gender to the creator, it's definitely female.
More good news from W11 in this case is that Double Agent 7, who have for a long time been DJs with us.
Yeah, man, they
Kerry
play that.
And John.
Yeah, Kerry and John. Agent
J and Agent K.
Agent J and Agent K. Wonderful. They play original 45s only. It's always vinyl. And they are classic psychobilly come rockabilly.
I remember they really rocked Carnival
proper
one year,
rock
didn't
and roll.
they?
Oh, mate, they were spectacular. And lovely Ras Makist did a rap over the top of it, did a little bit of vocal over the top of it one time, and it actually worked incredibly well.
It was brilliant. They were a bit annoyed, but never mind.
Yeah, no, but we thought it was spectacular. Anyway, they have released a compilation, is that right?
Yeah,
Or,
it's a vinyl compilation. Vinyl, that's probably for Greg and all the young people out there. It's called Buzzsaw Joint Cut 9. It's on Stagoli Records.
Amazing.
Stagoli Records.
And it will be a side, two sides. Actually, it's vinyl, isn't it? I've forgotten how vinyl works. It'll be two sides full of fantastic original cuts from the 50s and 60s, rockabilly, doo-wop, R&B, soul. It's for vinyl junkies because it means there's going to be a whole load of records you don't need to go out and find any longer.
Yeah, man, this is very, very true. Very, very true. It's a celebration of their night in Ridley Road Market, which was called
Mission 45. And in fact, they're doing their final Mission 45. It is worth getting over there to Ridley Road Market.
We were reminiscing about Ridley Road because I lived in Stoke Newington in the late 80s, and that's a go-to place. It was a market, and Sandringham Road was Murder Mile, and and we were just talking actually about how much it's changed down there in Dalston and stuff. It's like unrecognisable from what we had back in the 70s and the 80s, basically.
I nearly bought a place in Sandringham Road in 1988.
Because it was proper cheap down at that time, wasn't it? You could get a really good deal.
I wonder how I'd have turned out if I'd gone to Hackney instead of
you'd probably be
Portobello
wearing
Road.
a pair of batty riders and rocking a massive beard. And generally, like
being a hipster Dixter.
Yeah, that's right. You don't think I'd be a mime artist or something?
No, I doubt that.
I couldn't shut up.
You know what? I think you'd be exactly as you are, but you'd be like bigging up East London
instead of bigging up West.
I think that's exactly.
Possibly.
I think that is who
Possibly,
Piers is.
yeah.
I think you'd be exactly the same, but you'd be wearing it wouldn't be Portobello radio. I don't know what it would be. Whatever East, whatever radio.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Absolutely,
there you go.
indeed.
Anyway, so get yourselves down to Ridley Road because they've
July
got
the 13th.
their last big gig.
Their
down there,
last
man.
ever gig. Big shout out, obviously, to anyone from West London who's there in Glastonbury. Endless shots.
Because if God forbid we would never shout out to people from East London.
No.
Hilarious.
There have been so many amazing shots of Joe Rush's car henge.
Yeah, there has
right
actually.
in the
yeah.
middle. I was particularly juiced by the one that saw the dawn on the solstice rising over car
I think you
henge.
pinged me that one in WhatsApp. Very, very good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Someone said to me, what do you people in West London think about people from East London, actually, not long ago? And I said, we just feel sorry for you because you're not from West London. There you go.
It's all a bit beardy over there.
It's all a bit
It's
beardy,
very,
isn't it?
very
Very
beardy.
beardy.
Very,
beardy
very
indeed.
Did you do anything weird and hippie on the solstice, Craig?
No, I was very calm and relaxed. It was a lovely evening. It was really, really lovely. Great energy in the air. Beautiful sun in the sky till late, and very, very warm and clammy outside. So I just took it real easy, man, and kept my vibes high. It was great fun. Really, really lovely.
Great. More news from the area. My kids are a bit old for this now, but people will be delighted to hear the St Mark's Park water park is open again.
Yay!
They've got loads of new playground equipment, so I get in there quickly because if I remember rightly, the first time it reopened, there were water issues within about 3 days, and they had to close it down.
Wicked,
for
get down there
multiple
quick,
years.
man. Get
What,
down
for
there
the
really
little
quick.
Lido thing?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
St.
the
Mark's.
little, well, my kids used to absolutely love it down there.
I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing, of course, that you could be doing this weekend, if you've got nothing else to do, is you could be volunteering at the Sounds of Latimer.
You could.
You get...
Wow, Piers, that's a wonderful opportunity.
You
How
get-
does one do that?
Well, you get in touch with me. Either come to the Muse Gallery right now or come to the Sounds of Latimer.
Come down to the Sounds of
outside
Latimer on Saturday or
Max
Sunday
Cellar.
morning, anytime between
We'll
8
give you some
and 11.
expenses and we will give...
Ooh, we get expenses if we volunteer.
We
How
give
wonderful.
expenses. We have branded high-vis, which you can
Whoop,
take
whoop, whoop.
away.
I have to say, actually, that is a very cool high vis.
It is pretty cool.
It's
isn't
very
it?
cool.
Yeah, man.
It's proper cool. Most high vises aren't cool.
True. You could wear that to a demonstration and get away with it. That's for sure.
You could wear that to a nightclub
You could probably wear it on the dance floor, yeah.
in a pair of Batty
Yeah.
Riders.
Come on, we're back to Stoke Newington, baby. Love
In
Love it,
culinary news, of course, the big news around here is that any moment now, KFC is going to open where the Grove Fish Bar used
I
to
know,
be.
it's horror.
Ouch.
Horror upon horror.
Ouch.
There's been
Horror.
some quite
We
vitriol.
managed to keep those scumbag chain
Scumbag.
stores out of the air as much as possible,
Wow.
and now it's just like taking over like everywhere.
Yeah, we haven't got them on the Portobello Road, which is great, but this is Ladbroke Grove, just outside Ladbroke Grove.
Yeah, but have you? I mean, I've just
know.
on another aside, which is very important nonetheless. I've been taking part in the examinations in person for the local plan. I was there on Tuesday and Wednesday, representing myself, the community,
locals.
local community, on various issues around planning. You obviously made submissions, as did you attended some of the meetings, Piers, as did Tanya. And so, it's one of the things that came up was Portobello Road. And what is the plan for Portobello Road? What's it supposed to look like? So I objected and raised some stuff about the amount of chain stores, because there was a tacit agreement with the community that this would be the home of like independent traders and stuff. And gradually, I mean, I've watched since the 1980s. How many chain stores have we got now on Portobello Road?
When we were in our infancy, in our very first year, which must be in 2015, do you remember there used to be that newspaper that went through the door that was vaguely interesting? And my favourite story, of course, was the avocado tree in Blenheim Crescent. But I remember a headline on that paper, and it must have been July-ish, 2015, 97% of the stores on Portobello Road were independent.
Exactly. I mean, that's why, like, people like me that came from Osterley literally came to Portobello Road in the 70s and the 80s, because it was literally a road full of independent traders and that sort of thing. And now it's becoming like any other high street. It's a real problem.
Sadly, you've got to have a lot of money to be an independent trader around here.
Yeah.
And
Well, but
that's
that's
sort
the-
of an oxymoron, isn't it?
It
you know?
is,
So
and
it's
that's the
like,
thing.
wow,
But
there
they
you go.
don't. They could put in. In America there are. I forgot what they call. There's something retail, and it's a way of making sure that certain areas retain that. And if the local
Part of the
authority,
zoning.
if the local authority wanted to, I think they could make more of an effort to actually protect the character.
So how do you
Hi, Denny.
make good evening.
Hello, Dinny.
Yeah, studio manager Dean Kennedy.
Yeah. Just keep
Right.
going.
So how do you make enough money to be selling hats up at the antiques market? Yeah. To
Well-
pay for the rent.
Do you mean on the store, or do you mean...
Yeah, you ain't
Oh,
selling that many hats. It's money laundering.
Okay, but
Sorry, I had a very deep conversation last Friday with several representatives and ex-stall holders. Two of them are millionaires in their own right, and they were like, we're not paying extortionate rates to be in a little bit of the famous Portobello Road market, when all it is, there's nothing apart from under the tent, right? There's nothing, no creativity, and now you've got all this vintage. It's like
Well,
100 quid for a
second-hand clothes.
t-shirt. 100 quid for a t-shirt. Sorry,
second-hand
bruv.
clothes.
You've got to
I
remember-
loved it back in the day when it was just second-hand clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got to remember that whole vintage scene started up there. There wasn't a vintage scene, and that, I'm afraid, has been slightly overtaken by the internet, because now, if you've
Monsoon.
if you've got
has
some-
a
Vinted.
store on-
There's actually a bloody app called Vinted now.
Yeah,
Can you believe it?
but if you've got some nice gear, you're much better off selling it to the highest bidder on the internet than you are coming down here in all weathers at, Alessandra said she turned up at something like 7 a.m. You don't necessarily get a stall just where you want it. And
But there's something just morally wrong with all of this. I mean, surely, the whole point about second-hand clothes. So, I've mentioned it before. I worked for Penny Smith, the famous photographer. I worked at her bookstore from the age of 15. We had second-hand books, second-hand clothes, like 75p or 80p or whatever. It was the early 80s. But for a coat. A really cool, like, old mohair kind of coat from back in the day. But the point was, you were recycling, reusing clothes. So it was affordable for everyone. Why would you pay £300 for a second hand? I don't get what
well,
they're
because
trying
it
to
cost
do.
£1,200 when it was new.
Yeah, but then it's
That's
not
why-
new. Just give it to somebody who's going to use it. Why has it always got to be about profit? Why can't
Well,
it just be about sustainability?
But if you had a lovely Chanel suit, would you just give it to Oxfam?
When
or-
my mother died, she had a whole bunch of that stuff, and we just gave it away. I mean, it's stuff I wouldn't wear because I wasn't like her. But that's the thing. You just gave it to the second-hand store. You give it to the charity store, and somebody else uses it. I don't get why everything has to have a monetary value and profit. Just maybe I'm just dense, but I don't get it.
Anyway, not the Portobello, RBKC are instituting some new discussions about the market. Their first attempt.
Yes, when are they happening, Piers?
It went. It has to be said it's slightly unclear because, as you know, if you are part of the establishment around here and you try to engage the community in conversation, all you get is loads and loads of back chat. So what the council started off doing was there are various groups who represent the various groups on the market, and they tried to engage these groups in initial chats, but of course this spread to the wider community.
Descend into
and
chaos.
Suddenly we all descended down on the tabernacle saying, you're not doing any more.
I mean, there is also the issue about the food court just spreading and spreading and spreading, so it just becomes, just food everywhere? Yeah. I don't know, it also, or maybe I'm just old.
Them pouring oil.
The oil into the sewer. Yes, that is an issue apparently. Yeah,
I've seen that. I mean, like.
No, but that is a big issue because the rat issue is getting worse and worse. But that, I'm afraid, is.
Hey, we should get some rats to come on Portobello Radio and tell us what it's like now that they're getting fed so well. Yeah.
But it's one of the it's one of the problems with the way the whole system is set up. Is that it's very easy for the council to come up with 3 million quid for capital expenditure, which they would come down here, they'd build something shiny, it would go in the capex part of the ledger, and that comes out of one account. But if you said, why don't we spend that 300?
Oh no, we can't, because that's in a separate account.
Yeah, why don't we spend it as 300 grand a year, keeping?
Oh no.
They can't do that, and that is one of the
problems.
I mean,
the way that local authorities, big organisations manage budgets is so bureaucratic and problematic.
Yeah, I mean, we've just come out of the period where every road is dug up because they suddenly realise they've got a little bit of
spend that money.
money.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just dig a few roads up.
Spend 100 grand widening a road.
I mean, the corner of my road, Silchester Road and Bramley Road, has been dug up.
Oh
for
my
the
God,
last
it's such a
5
state.
days.
I tried to take a bus on my way up here. 3-1. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Yeah. Lord,
they widened that or shortened it.
Mercy.
I don't know.
Should we play another tune and then we will? I've still got some more culinary news beyond even the opening of the KFC.
Well, let's go. Old school.
Very old school.
that's a classic one. I think perfect for the summer, Pata Pata. And you know, I've always wanted to be able to actually say the name in Zulu or Xhosa. I can't remember which language it is, but I just can't say it. So when she says, they call it Pata Pata because the English can't say, and she does the click. I also can't say what it is as well. What a pity.
And that, of course,
you can have a go though, Piers, because you're so good at accents, and not accents,
Miriam
McCabe, but you're very good at pronouncing words and stuff. Maybe not accents. So technically, I reckon you might be able to click into that. Have a go.
So I find if I'm just on the Ladbroke Grove North Kensington Community Group, and there's something about KFC opening, and you'll be interested to hear that Richie Humphrey likes KFC and thinks they should put a little McDonald's in Portobello Road.
And who is this idiot?
I don't know. I mean, he may be one of our listeners. Richie, if you're listening, you didn't hear that from us.
Well, if you're listening, that's a dickhead comment, my friend.
The thing I'm slightly intrigued by is the fact that the Pelican, which is in All Saints Road, is taking over what used to be the Fat Badger, what used to be Pizza East, what those of us who lived up there will know as the Carnarvon. And the manager at the Pelican, I know it's got a bit of a made in Chelsea reputation, and I know
it's a nightmare and it needs to be closed down. The residents are trying to get the license revoked, which I hope they do, because they're obnoxious people that gather out there. Absolutely horrendous. They make noise all night. The residents can't sleep. I mean, the entitled class. So I hope they get their license withdrawn. They're horrible.
Right. So hopefully they'll all be down at the Pig and Whistle, because I can tell you.
Yeah, let's exactly.
The noise from the Pig and Whistle resounds into
Yes,
the
but
night.
people love that because it's like a community thing, and it's like where it is. It's just that
all cabbed up from Chelsea.
Yeah, whereas everybody's jumping in Ubers and arriving from wherever, you know.
Anyway, they're taking over what used to be Pizza East, the Fat Badger, for a summer pop-up, and I'll be interested. There's kind of a rumour that it's going to be cheaper up there than the Pelican.
But, close them down. Close them down.
We'll believe that when we see it. The other thing I was going to say about food.
Yes, talk about food.
Is we should have been at the Windrush celebrations at Morley College last night.
Oh, right, because they had food.
I'm seeing pictures of the gorgeous food.
So hang on, Morley College fed people.
Morley College fed people. Are you listening, the Westway Trust?
Yeah, because we had some hungry people in the place.
Yeah.
And look at our little Gregsy. He's so small. He needs to be fed.
Wow.
He should have got 2 meals. At least double the amount of doubles.
You know what? I went down Tabernacle, which was very, very quiet, and Chef gave us the biggest
Big up,
portions
Chef.
because he just wasn't sure. He'd obviously overcooked for the day, man.
Big up, Chef.
Had lots going. So yeah, it was massive. I well advise anybody who likes their fish curries to get down there and get a fish curry at the Tabernacle. It's delicious, absolutely delicious.
Fabulous. Have we got time for another tune?
I think the last tune, possibly.
What should I do? Play like a really short tune?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll play this one because.
Thank you all for listening, everybody. We hope to see you over the course of the weekend
Yeah,
outside
man.
the Maxilla at North Ken Resource Centre.
We'll definitely be there.
Outside Bay 20. Come and make an ear. Come and do a workshop with the National Theatre.
Or just hang around and listen to the mad sounds.
I mean, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Listen to the sounds. Are you listening?
Are
Bring
you
your big
listening?
ears and listen.
Yeah, man.
Get your big ears on.
Get your big ears on.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
we'll be back here next Friday, and it'll all be about the KCAW Kensington and Chelsea Art Week bus.
Amazing.
Because we'll have actually looked at the website and be able to tell you where we're going.
Yeah, man, which is on July the 1st. In case you
July
wanted
the
to rock
1st.
up and get that one 10 a.m. in the morning. It's an early start.
And then we look forward to welcoming as many of you as possible here at the Muse on the 7th of July, because that will be show number 400.
Wow, we're going to have
Ooh,
cake.
we're going to have cake.
We're gonna have cake.
Yeah,
we're
man.
gonna have cake.
You know that. It's going to be brilliant.
What
Absolutely
kind
brilliant.
of cake?
Thank you, guys and girls, for listening. You've been adorable.
Meat cake.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there is that as
Meatloaf.
well.
I'm looking at Gregsy and I'm
No.
thinking a different kind of cake, but never mind.
No.
Thank you for
No.
listening.
Wicked.
Keep it locked over the weekend.
Yeah.
You can
Keep
take
listening.
us anywhere. You can listen
Keep
in your car. You
listening.
can listen on your phone. You can listen in the garden. You can listen.
In person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved.
Yene boy me Mama Menyadio, Mama Menyadio, Mama when in blue. If you want something for your body, can grab it from us over. Must it be something for somebody? So when you should cry, help your brother in every way. Yeah, boy, me. Yeah, boy, me, why? So me, man, boy, me. Yeah, boy, me, why? Want me why? Say who me na messy my trust ya want me a brunch ya. Want me why? Say who me na messy me ni ya want me na minya no. Want me why? Say who me na messy me ya want me minya be. Want me why? Yeah, want me why? I am calling so give me your hand. Edition ya mi share. You want to think you are my brother? Forgive me a champagne, oh, eh. Things are not going to talk. Only God when I'm a pain, oh, eh. As the sun they shine away, the wind they blow things be okay. And if I owe you sometime, the ram my brother will come. Yeah, boy, me why? So me man boy me. Yeah, boy, me why? Want me why? Say who me na messy my trust ya want me a brunch ya. Want me why? Say who me na messy me ni ya want me na minya no. Want me why? Say who me na messy me ya want me minya be. Want me why? Yeah, want me why? Say who me na messy my trust ya want me a brunch ya. Say who me na messy me ni ya want me na minya no. Say who me na messy me ya want me minya be. Yeah, they want me why? This is it's about right movement. Jumpy, let's go. Oh, Bambi, 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 oh, Bambi. Yeah, they want me why?